Welcome to another Reading Reddit live stream highlights video. If you're new here, my name is Sarby. I read Reddit stories on my live stream for you so that you and I can react to them together. This video highlights 3 juicy Best of Redditor Updates posts that we reacted to live on stream. I give my opinions in the video, but I want to hear your guys' opinions and reactions in the comments on YouTube or Spotify. Subscribe and follow if you enjoy, and I hope to see you in a future live stream. Best of Redditor Updates. My fiance got a face tattoo without talking to anyone. New update 1 year later. November 4th, 2022 original post. My fiance, Kim, I have just learned is completely insane. She took some days off work this week, sick, and avoided seeing most people in person. She claimed she was feeling sick and just wanted to stay home alone. She has never given me any indication that she would lie about this in the 6 years we've been together. No one in her family had any worries because she was a stable individual who would never do anything crazy. She got a face tattoo. She took 3 sick days from work to recover from the fact that she got a face tattoo. She told no one of this plan beforehand. I have never in our time together been talked to about tattoos by Kim. She showed no indication that she was even interested in getting any. I was not even the first to learn. Her sister visited her because she got worried after Kim canceled meeting with her for lunch on her 3rd day sick and got the grand reveal. She didn't tell anyone beforehand because she didn't want to be talked out of it and hid the results because the swelling and redness were so bad that we would react badly and not be able to understand the artistic meaning. Kim is Asian American. She got Japanese symbols going down her forehead and under her eye. I don't know the meaning of them. I don't really know if I care to know the meaning of them. Kim's parents are Japanese immigrants, according to her sister, who was nice enough to inform me of this whole debacle. This is a big no-no in Japanese culture. Tattoos have links to crime and are looked down upon. Her parents are beside themselves, and that is a whole other set of drama I can't even begin to approach. Kim talked to me last night about it and acted offended and started a fight because I told her it was absolutely insane of her to do this. She works a public-facing job. She talks face-to-face with clients in the financial industry. The minute her boss finds out, the career she went to school for will be over. She actually didn't consider her job or family or me at all and decided a long time ago she was going to express herself freely without any concerns. I'm worried about her right now. This is not normal. She blocked my number after our fight and is ghosting me and her sister because we're trying to help. But dear Lord, this is far beyond me. I cannot comprehend what I'm even supposed to do right now. Kim's lost her mind. Is there any chance I will be happily married to this? A woman who went and got a face tattoo and hid that fact because she knew we would all talk her out of it. Dear Lord, I really need to run, don't I? How are we feeling, chat? Because don't get me wrong, career-wise, maybe not the right move. As a half Japanese man, I know how detrimental it is having tattoos in Japanese culture and how much they look down upon that. I just think the lack of communication about it is the biggest red flag. I also think there is an argument for, like, as their partner, that shouldn't change how you feel about them. This is really abnormal behavior too, so I'm almost wondering if Kim needs a grippy sock vacation, if you know what I'm saying. Rum Ripple, serious cold feet. I think that could be it too. I think if you really loved her, you would first try to figure out, like, why did you do this? Especially if she had no tattoos prior and then was like, give me a face tat. There has to be something mentally going on. This is what they edited onto the original post. The engagement is pretty much off. Kim has told me she never wants to see me again, and I woke up this morning with her ring and a box of stuff I gave her on my porch. I don't know what's going on with her. Her sister and family have been trying their best, but nothing on their end is working. I brought up to her sister the idea this is a mental breakdown and they are looking into getting her help. It's painfully slow considering Kim is not responding to anything and is refusing to talk to anyone. I really don't know what to say here, I guess. To answer some questions, Kim is 29 and I'm 28. In the 7 years I've known her, she has never acted like this at all. She had a good relationship with her parents, and while they were a bit overbearing at times, they supported her in going to college and getting a career rather than starting a family. From what I've gathered, they probably would have been fine with any tattoo she got as long as it was not on her face, neck, or hands. Even then, this kind of behavior is as far from Kim as I could have imagined. She just lost her mind out of nowhere. It's not like I can do anything about it either. She's blocked my number and does not want to see me. I'm just at a loss for words. One day I'm engaged and the next I'm not, and my ex has a face tattoo. Update 1, 8 months later, July 27th, 2023. About 9 months ago, my ex-fiance Kim got a face tattoo without telling anyone. This was just the start of her doing everything she could to ruin her life. She broke up with me and called off our 7-year relationship when I questioned why she did this. She worked in a client-facing job for an incredibly large financial institution and was let go within a month of showing back up for work after getting the tattoo. I kept in contact with Kim's sister, hoping for some news. They tried to get her help as they thought she was going to have a kind of psychotic break. However, she eventually called the police on her own family, claiming they were harassing her. After that, I decided to just walk away. Kim didn't just destroy her own life. When she broke up with me, I felt numb. I knew this wasn't Kim doing this. I wanted to believe deep down that Kim was always like this, always this impulsive, crazy who would ruin her life by getting a face tattoo. I tried to convince myself that I had not lost a wonderful woman who I had spent 7 years of my life with. However, the person who made these choices was not Kim. The woman who told me over the phone she hated my guts for not supporting her. The woman who wrote she hated me and only ever stayed with me out of pity. That was not the woman I asked to marry. That was not Kim. That was someone who I came to find out was having a mental breakdown. That resulted in months of bad decisions that will affect the rest of her life. The day I walked away and told her sister I could not deal with it anymore was the worst day of my life. It hit me like a train. The numbness and denial of what I lost hit me all at once. I almost quit my own job and moved back home to my parents. I can only thank my boss for being so understanding that she let me take 4 weeks off to deal with what happened. She and the rest of my team went far beyond what should have ever been expected of coworkers and management, that it makes me realize how close I was to leaving a job I actually enjoy. I never moved on from Kim, but I came to accept what had happened. I thought I was okay until 2 weeks ago. I got a call from Kim. She had blocked my number and done everything she could to remove me from her life. My mind just blanked when I saw it was her calling. I picked up and it was actually her. We didn't talk. I did not know what to say to her. We decided she would come over to my place and we talked. The tattoo is still there, but she's covering it up now with makeup. She says when she has the funds, she's going to look into getting it removed if possible. She had lost a lot of weight since I last saw her. She's not been able to find a new job. She'll probably need to move to a new city for that. She wasn't the Kim I had fallen in love with. She was like a shell of her. Something just wasn't there anymore that used to be. Kim told me what had happened. The year leading up to the tattoo was awful for her. The stress of everything seemed to pile up more and more. I'll respect her and keep much of what she told me secret. However, the thing that is important is that she secretly started doing methamphetamines to keep her performance up at work and to deal with everything. That one day, she just out of nowhere decided she hated everything about her life. She explained why at the time she wanted the tattoo. It doesn't really make much sense, but a lot of what she was thinking at the time didn't. From there, she just lost control of everything. I won't talk about what happened after she disappeared, but it is not pretty. There are things she did that will follow her for the rest of her life. It explained a lot, but it did not make things any better. We talked for nearly the entire night. She didn't leave my place till almost 4 a.m. Since then, she said that she wants to try and get back together with me. She admitted she knows things cannot be the same, yet she wants to try. I haven't talked to anyone about what I'm about to say yet. I've held off on talking to Kim about it because it feels selfish, but there's something about the way Kim acts about the way it affected my life that irks me. When we talked that night, she said that I was lucky she cut me off. I was lucky I didn't get put through any of this. I was lucky that my crazy ex wasn't at my door screaming or showing up to my work and causing a scene. She acts like my life wasn't affected at all. I told her what happened after she left, how much it hurt, how I almost quit my job and moved across the country. Her response was dismissive. Like, because I didn't go through with that, I don't get to complain. She acted like because I was not the one with the tattoo on her face, I don't get to act like it had long-lasting effects on me. She didn't even apologize for the explicit and hateful note she left with my things when she returned them. Or for the phone call where she called me a manipulative, selfish a-hole who only wanted her for her body. Or even just for breaking up with me. She knows she was wrong to do it, but it's almost as if she's acting like because she had a breakdown, I can't hold her accountable for what she did to me because it wasn't long lasting. I texted her last night saying how hard it was for me when she left. She ignored it entirely and tried to move on. No acknowledgement at all. I don't know why, but it hurt me. It hurt me so much. I feel like I did back when all those emotions finally hit me after she left. I wish I had just never come back into my life now. I wish I didn't know what happened. I wish I hadn't picked up the call because it hurts. But a part of me feels like I'm being selfish or complaining too much, that I don't get to feel this way because I'm not the one who had the mental breakdown. Not that I've been in the same situation, but I've definitely been in a situation that someone broke up with me. Things happened that hurt me even deeper. And then way later on, they apologized, but they didn't really apologize for the things they did. They just tried to like justify the things that they did. I could tell that the apology was more about them them than it was about helping me heal. I'm getting the same vibe here. In the grand scheme of things, she ruined her life more than OP's, but for her not to acknowledge and validate the fact that she ruined OP's life in a lot of ways as well, that's kind of an ick. And that's also very telling for somebody like this. If this person's asking to be back together with you, do you actually want to be with somebody who just makes it all about them? It's all about Kim here. It's all about her life and how the things that she did ruined her life and she's the victim here. Something I found with kind of like people like this is they're so caught up in themselves and their own self-sabotage that they can't acknowledge other people's issues in life. I don't think you want that in your life, bro. I think you're just asking to be let down. Update 2. My ex died of a drug overdose June 13th, 2024, 1 year after the first update. I learned yesterday that my ex Kim died of a drug overdose Sunday. I'm still processing the news, I guess. Kim reappeared in my life about a year ago after breaking up with me and essentially becoming a ghost. She wanted to get back together with me and I stupidly considered it and let her get the foot in the door. She claimed she was clean, but she wasn't. It was obvious she was still using meth, and my guess is she still was using fentanyl. After I finally declined to get back together with her, she slashed my tires after causing a scene at my office. Luckily, she's been out of my life for 6-ish months now, after some cop put the fear of God in her after she broke the restraining order. I've not heard much about Kim since then, thankfully. Last I heard, she was wanted on a warrant and was hiding low across state lines. Yesterday, though, Kim's sister called me to let me know she was found dead Sunday morning. She wanted me to hear it from her instead of through the grapevine. I appreciated it. Despite everything, Kim's family has been nothing but kind to me. Kim's parents are quietly cremating her and there won't be any ceremony. Seems that stealing and abusing her family since she started doing meth has made them just as detached about her as me. Or maybe they've already mourned the loss of their daughter long ago and now is just the end of whatever remained. Right now, I don't know how to feel. I feel like I should be sad. I knew Kim for 7 years. I was with her for 6. I was engaged to her. I lost my virginity to her. She was the first person I truly loved. I used to sit up with her and talk about the family I wanted to have. I wanted Kim to be the mother to my kids. Sat up with me as I cried when I heard the news of my mother's death. At one point in my life, she was the most important thing in the world to me. And I don't really feel anything. When Kim left me, I was devastated. When she came back into my life, she made me feel a combination of emotions I can't even describe. And now hearing the news that she's dead, I don't feel anything. I don't feel numb. I'm not in shock. I just am lacking any emotion towards this event at all. I feel like I should feel something, right? I still miss Kim, not the Kim that died Sunday. Not the Kim that stalked me, but the Kim I met. The Kim I fell in love with. The Kim that died when she started to do meth. I still feel sad when I think about her, but knowing this other Kim is dead just makes me feel nothing. I totally get it though. His version of Kim died a long time ago, and in a lot of ways, he's probably gotten to mourn that death already. So this death has kind of already happened in his head. Now it's just official, I guess. Damn. New update. I ruined my wife's life. This was posted in r/true off my chest. Original post April 22nd, 2024. I, male 43, try to do my best to provide for my wife, female 38, and 2 kids, 3 and 5, as well as my mother-in-law, and would like to think I am doing a decent job. Over the years, I worked to improve our family's living situation. Not only did I complete another bachelor's and recently master's in a STEM-related degree, I at the same time worked 2 full-time jobs while completing my second bachelor's and put my wife through school as well. She completed a degree where she could make good money, around 60 to 70K a year, in a healthcare field that always has jobs available. But with the birth of our 2 kids, she has since gave up on her career to be a stay-at-home mother for the time being. At first, it was a struggle while I finished up my master's. Once I completed it, after our youngest turned 3, my career took a jump up, and we are now able to afford our single-income household in a more feasible manner. We're far from rich, but do okay for a single-income family of 4. A little north of 150K base plus bonuses. The past year of our life was overwhelming per my wife, so even though I now work 75% from home, I budgeted to hire a daytime nanny to help her around the house with 1 child while the other is in school now. My day starts every day around 5:30 to 6 a.m. I get the house ready for the day before the nanny comes at 8 a.m. I get our oldest up and ready for school, breakfast made, and plan out my day, bring our oldest to drop off and be home in time to let the nanny in. Okay, I'm all for a husband that actually does shit even though they work. But if you're a stay-at-home mom, why are you not doing that? Or at least supporting it? My most recent task at work has me grounded for the next 2 months, meaning I am now 100% work from home. While this is nice, I am busy in meetings all day as my role manages teams on a global scale as I oversee projects from my industry. For the past 1.5 months, I realized my wife, as much as she says her life is stressful at home, starts at 10 a.m. I asked my mother-in-law and nanny if this was always the case after a week or so of work from home, and they both responded more or less. Sometimes earlier, sometimes later. My wife literally wakes up and cooks, then scrolls through her phone or shops from home, which brings me to my gripe. I'm glad I am able to provide her with that sort of life since we both grew up lacking in means. I get the possibility of postpartum depression, the stress of having kids, the feeling of being unfulfilled, the fact that I probably am a shitty husband, but for what it's worth, everything is taken care of and then some. Okay, initial thoughts here. OP is not a shitty husband. He is fully providing for a family of 4, and he actually does shit. Waking up at 5:30 to 6 a.m. to like prep for the nanny to come over and helping your kids get stuff done. Maybe my definition of a shitty husband is wrong, but that's not my definition. I manage the house's finances. She claims she was too busy to do so. Pay all the household bills. I pay my own personal bills. I pay her bills. Track and perform all the upkeep of our house appliances, cars, pets, etc. And I also help pay for my mother-in-law's medical bills and car note. But apparently, my life is on easy street compared to hers. I can't decompress to her because it seems like she always feels the need to one-up me. I had a bad day, but she had it worse because I'm lucky I got to go away and work. My feet hurt from walking all day during work travel, which is nothing compared to her standing and cooking with a child clinging to her. For the past 2 or so years, I've been told I ruined her life, her opportunities, etc. But when I reminded her of what she says, she denies and dodges accountability. My mother-in-law has brought me aside and stated she's noticed a change in both myself and my wife. I have a greater attachment to my kids, and hell, I've hugged the dogs and talked to them more about my life than to my wife. I honestly feel like I am in emotional survival mode, as I'm 1 step from moving up the career ladder and 1 step away from finding love and comfort from the bottom of a whiskey bottle. I'm sure I'll be hearing from the manly men of Reddit about how I'm simping, but I'm not a machine. I just want to know and feel that someone I prioritize aside from my kids appreciates and loves me for what I do. I'm sure I'll hear from the stay-at-home moms of Reddit, which is fine. I grew up in a single parent/mother household. It's not easy, and honestly, with the help of her mother and nanny Monday through Friday, for 1 toddler while another child is at school, can you honestly tell me she's having the typical stay-at-home mother experience? Because neither my friends or colleagues who are single parents can say she is. I'm sure the masses of holier-than-thou Redditors will consider this a poorly written fanfic, but it is what it is. I definitely think OP's wife is a problem. However, I also think that OP does not have the right tools in his belt to properly address that problem and get something done with it. It sounds like he's insecure and isn't standing up for himself. He does a lot, he provides a lot, and in my opinion, he's pulling his weight. Out of anybody here, the wife isn't pulling their weight, but he isn't doing enough to argue his case. If your wife is one-upping you all the time, call her out on it. And you have some one-ups too. Oh man, I had to get up at 6 a.m. and prep the kids. You got up at 10. And calling her out on it too, being like, why can't you just let me like complain? Why do you have to one-up me on everything? And I think you need to be better about calling her bluffs. She's complaining like, oh, you ruined my life because now I can't get a job. Cool. Go get a job. Call her on her shit. OP is fine. He's like made the bed that he's living in and is willing to like push through it. His wife has made the bed that she's living in, but she refuses to sleep in it. She's like, oh, fuck this bed. Like it's everybody's fault except for mine. There is a quick little edit here from OP to add more context. Never cheated. I do work in an industry that has a large female population, but I'm literally an open book with work. Name colleagues and staff under me. She has access to my work agendas and correspondence if she really wanted to snoop. But on that note, she still doesn't know what exactly I do for a living at this time. Number 2, we as a whole family, her parents and mine, have tried to get her to go to therapy, but she refuses or skirts around the issue. 3, aside from my coming from a single mother household purse, my biological dad was present in my life. She has had both parents in a reportedly monogamous marriage for over 40 years. 4, I have tried to talk to her about everything and my own feelings, but again, one-upmanship tends to be the trend here. 5, what I'm getting out of the marriage was asked. Now, aside from my 2 beautiful kids, I've been asking myself that same question. We have a near non-existent sex life, mainly since last year. I always figured maybe it's part of depression or whatever she may be going through. Maybe I'm just not attractive enough or just horrible in bed because of my own health conditions. I am not some supermodel husband, but temptation and opportunity does knock and I can perform still, but I never give in because, as cliche as it sounds, I honestly do love my wife and want to only be with her. 6, I'll give credit where credit is due, as I don't want to sound biased. When I say she wakes up and cooks, she cooks for everyone in the house. Myself, kids, mother-in-law, and even nanny. Aside from breakfast, she cooks all meals and snacks. I typically fast until lunchtime, and our oldest tends to eat a small, simple breakfast in case they don't like what school serves that morning. She does load both the kids and her laundry, but seldomly folds and puts them up. I typically do my own, and the rest of my clothes I dry clean because they're work clothes. She does keep track of our pantry and fridge, but after she makes the list, I'm the one who goes out and buys everything if not delivered. She does clean our bathrooms and house 50% of the time. The other 50% is done by either mother-in-law or myself, or sometimes the nanny if she feels like being extra helpful. 7, prior to the nanny, my mother-in-law was the main help for my wife up until she had unexpected medical needs, so I opted to hire a nanny to help them both, more so when mother-in-law is having treatments and recovering. The biggest question here is, what about the wife's life is she truly unhappy about? Is the wife unhappy because she cooks too much? Is the wife unhappy because she doesn't have a full-time job? Is the wife unhappy because there's a mystery third thing that hasn't even popped up in the conversation yet? The only thing that's clear here is the wife is unhappy. The wife hasn't made it very clear what the issue is, and the husband is not pushing to figure out that issue. And I think that's the overall problem with this whole scenario. Here's a quick little update from May 6th, 2024. I showed my wife my post the following weekend and she read it and all the comments. Long story short, argument. She left our house to stay with her sister, and I have been a single parent since. It's sad to say, aside from the good nights to our kids, it's pretty much the same routine. Thank you for the comments and DMs, and more so for the offers to let me ruin your life. Ha. It's been the highlight of my day/night as I sit here drinking with my dog while everyone else is asleep. It feels depressingly sad that I feel that I have to turn to random internet strangers for some sort of validation in my rant. My apologies in advances as I try to keep this as vague as possible. Update number 3, I ruined my wife's life again, June 3rd, 2024. Wife left, came back like nothing happened. She made it about her. Nothing's changed. I'm continuing to be suffering mentally, knowing nothing will change while trying to keep it together for our kids. Lots of takeout. The day after she packed up and left, my wife attempted to come back and take the kids with her to her sister's. Naturally, I was against this, and thankfully so was her whole family, including said sister. Not only was it not fair to our kids for her to sweep them away into a home that's not theirs, but to put that financial and housing stress on the rest of her family since she doesn't work and her sister and her family, husband and 3 kids, stays with their dad in the house they grew up in. After a little over a week of being away, I guess she cooled off, so she just decided that it would be fine if she walked in the door with her bags as if she just came back from Target. She came into my office while I was working and angrily stared at me while I sat on a conference call meeting with my team, and I couldn't just jump off as this is a busy time of the quarter for us. I guess that didn't sit well with her because once I took off my headset and closed my laptop, she started yelling at me about how much I really don't care about her and her well-being overall. At that moment, I couldn't do anything more than look at her and just shake my head. Mother-in-law came in after hearing my wife yelling and pulled her away, telling her not to bother me while our nanny kept our youngest away from it all on the other side of the house. That night, after the kids were put to bed, I sat in my office by myself with a drink as I have been doing for the past nights, and my wife came in. We talked, we argued, we cried, we drank. One thing led to another, and we were in bed. I wish I could say that was our making up, but the next sobering morning as we laid there, she went on about how hard it was for her the time she was gone. Literally, it was about her struggles staying at her family house in her old room with her dad and sister's family. How lucky I am to be able to stay here and do this and that and buy this and do that and not stress as much as they did. How easy my and everyone else's in our family's lives were compared to hers, even though we had similar upbringings. My mind and heart broke that morning. I've been spiraling down since then, and this last week I made another attempt to reconcile and talk things out. But I was met with a shouting match while trying to express my current stress and anxieties with life and work in general. Wife, well, do you know how hard this is all for me? You're supposed to help me be happy. Me. So when it comes to my happiness, stress, needs, and overall well-being, fuck me, get over it, right? Wife, we all have our own problems. You need to figure it out and get over them. We're gonna fucking hit the divorce button now. I try not to do that, as like the common Reddit user does. I don't know who the woman I am at home with is, but that wasn't the woman I married and vowed to spend the rest of my life with and raise our kids together. Since that conversation, I've been noticeably distant with her. I've been sleeping in my office or on the couch or with my kids in their bed after putting either one of them to sleep. Still doesn't change her starting her day at 10 a.m. and sitting on her phone talking to her mom groups between cooking meals with the kids in both mother-in-law and nanny's care. Nothing has changed, and I doubt that anything will change. Sadly, I think even if we got a divorce, nothing would change or feel different anyway, since during my wife's leaving, the days seemed like any other day except with a little more takeout than usual. My main fear there isn't that I wouldn't just lose my wife, I'd lose my kids in the process. So I guess it's sad to say the grand finale to my story with like a lot of men and some women I've talked to here, I'll just continue to smile and suffer in silence. That is the saddest shit I've ever read in my entire life. I do think it would be better to get a divorce at that point. I don't know. That's so fucking sad. There's another update, but before that, there is an edit here. Post-birth, our kid's pediatrician's office gave my wife those postpartum depression screening forms, and during the time of both, she scored pretty high and was suggested to see a therapist. With our second child, she scored significantly higher, and I should say, I made an effort to get her the help she needs. She refused, so entered mother-in-law and nanny for support. I know what people will say / think, but this is one of the reasons I am not 100% ready to just give up and file our life together away. Also, I know silently suffering in the near and long run of our kids' future will not add to the healthy atmosphere, but neither would a bitter and hate-filled divorce. I know some have compared it to the ripping off of a band-aid, saying it'll hurt at first, but that pain goes away. But I'd rather try to spare my kids, thinking that their parents ended up hating each other because of them, or something along those lines. I've told a few people I talked to in the DM since my last post a little more insight on my personal life. Prior to my promotion, I was a PM managing teams and budgets, so out of habit, I planned for a lot of what ifs. That being said, I made a number of contingency plans if sadly things went south. So yes, I, 1, have talked to a lawyer, 3 actually, knowing our rights and what each of us are entitled to, have a draft settlement created and on hold until I feel I need to use it. I know what I want and am willing to offer more than what is fair for our kids' well-being, but also have a plan if we end up going to court. It's 100% on me that I'm suffering in silence, but I'm too stubborn to just give up. So while I am venting, I don't expect anyone to feel sorry for me. I endure it to keep the norm our kids know, ensure my mother-in-law's treatments go uninterrupted, and of course, the hope my wife will finally be open to give therapy a shot and climb together to a better place. Holy shit, it just registered in my mind that it's the mother-in-law. This isn't even his mother, it's the mother. Oh my God. I don't necessarily agree that enduring this is what's best for your kids. There is a lot of therapy you could probably put your kids in to help them understand what's happening and guide them through the divorce so that they don't put that on their shoulders. I ruined my wife's life, so I ruined everyone else's too. July 1st, 2024. My wife chooses not to work. She does technically have a job. She just barely works it to the point we forget she has a job. As in, she worked one day 4 to 5 months ago for 8 hours on a Tuesday, kind of barely works. Her job and manager is really supportive, flex PRN model, and gives her a list of days they need coverage, and she can choose to pick up a shift or not. While she can work more and only does just enough to keep up her license, she complains to her family of her career being on hold for one reason or the other, although she has the opportunity to work more if she opted to. All things considered, she has an available, supportive circle around her for either decision she falls on. Our family, her job, and I have made multiple offers and taken many steps to open that door for her to go back to work, i.e. nanny, mother-in-law moved in to help, I work from home, her crazy flex PRN schedule, etc., but here we are. I am and have been in therapy for myself already. Aside from what I deal with at home, my work can be very debilitating in regard to my mental health as well as physical at times. Since I can't find the support I need mentally and physically at home with my wife, I've opted to attend therapy rather than find comfort with someone outside of the home or at the bottom of a bottle. I've tried to express this to my wife, and as mentioned in my previous post, she has a habit of one-upping me, and here we are. My in-laws are still married. Given the circumstances in our home, my mother-in-law moved in to help out my wife, while my sister-in-law and her family moved back into their parents' house due to their own reasons. Sister-in-law and her family can save money while getting back on their feet. and my wife and I benefit from my mother-in-law's help, and we can keep a closer eye on her while she undergoes bi-monthly treatments. My wife, by means of questionnaires, is highly suspected to have PPD alongside with a history of symptomatic OCD, ADHD, amongst other ailments that over the years she's refused to get evaluated for or refused to accept results given. I knew what I was getting into, and I love and accepted my wife for these flaws as she did mine at the time. Spare me your "I don't feel sorry for you" or pity. I am like every other man who fell in love and wanted to give my person the best of me and the world I can offer, but again, here we are. There's a lot of manly men / red pill nation guys out there complaining and saying I'm simping over my wife. While I respect your own opinions and perspectives, I will outright say if the situation only affected my life, I would have left a long time ago. As one Redditor said in a past comment that stuck to me, I am the kind of person that will take a bullet for his kids. Maybe it's in a different context intended, but to protect my kids from any harm physically or mentally, I'll take the proverbial bullet if and as needed. I'd like to think other dads out there would respond to the duty to protect their children, and that's why I endured as much as I have. For the time being, I would rather my wife use me as an outlet for whatever her problems were versus our kids. Now for the update, the end of an era. This will be shorter than some expected, as really there's not much to say, but just satiate the questions some of you may have had and give people the satisfaction of the "I told you so" moment on Reddit. After a hard push from our family via an intervention, my wife and I finally attempted to go to marriage counseling. I'm sure many of you can guess how well that went. Blame, tears, regrets, gaslighting, with a side of I am the reason for her life being ruined and horrible. Again. Just this time in front of a licensed therapist instead of Reddit or mom groups. In the end, everything the therapist suggested and noted went over her head and ignored as it was against the grain of her status quo. One thing I guess worth saying was the therapist asked if she could recall when she last truly felt happy. Her response was about 12 or so years ago. Please note, 12 years ago, she was still in her 20s, childless, living with her ex, a vastly different time and position in her life. I know it's petty of me, but I guess if that's when she was last happy, it wouldn't be that far of a stretch for her to find that happiness again, since her ex is in the same apartment, job, and place in life that he was 12 years ago, which is fine. If that's how you want to live life, I try not to judge, but in my 40s with kids, going clubbing 3 to 4 days a week is not my jam anymore. And of course, I don't want my kids around a mom and company who drowns themselves in White Claws. To add, I know some will ask, I know and can confirm she hasn't physically cheated on me, but can't confirm if she did emotionally, if that's the right term. After said therapy session, I checked all her phone records and didn't see anything out of the ordinary, but I also didn't bother to check apps like IG or Snapchat. I know I'm probably boring, but shout out to all the Costco dads whose Sunday fun day includes making rounds with kids for samples. That not only will be me, but is me right now. If anybody wants to go get Costco samples, let me the fuck know. The following weekend was Father's Day, and this year, as expected, not that big of a celebration as it is for many dads out there. Our family got together to celebrate with a barbecue and just simple family time, and my wife treated it like any other day. Sleep in, get up, cook, phone, shop, attempt to play with kids, phone. During said family barbecue, my wife said she felt ill, so she sat around most of the day while the rest of the family as a whole made the experience enjoyable. When everything was set up and the family all sat at the table, her parents and sister's family, my mother, our kids, admittedly, it was a great spread. Nothing extravagant, but just a great meal for everyone. I was conversing with my brother-in-law about both our kids' school's Father's Day activities, and I assume my wife overheard when I mentioned that it was a little sad to see some kids sit alone without their fathers during the breakfast with dad event I attended. She blurted out with a laugh loud enough for the whole room to hear, "It's not like you do anything anyway. I could have gone instead." Insane thing to say. At that moment, I was red and at loss for words, sitting there processing what she said in my head, while the dining room went dead silent. My mother-in-law broke the awkwardness and in response said, "Well, maybe if you feel that way, one of you should divorce the other." My wife looked at my mother-in-law confused that she would respond with that and laughed mockingly in my direction with her hand pointing at me and said, "As if another woman would want a man like him. Just look at you," while the room sat silent. Yeah, dog, I mean, you should have fucking pulled the ripcord way long ago, but this is your time. I just wish the mother-in-law would have been like, "Sit your ass down, you're a shitty wife." I was angry, heartbroken, confused, and embarrassed all at the same time. In manly man fashion, I just nodded my head in silence, stood up, and picked up my keys, and got in my truck and drove off to get a drink while trying to ignore the cries of the rest of the family and our kids telling me to stay. Damn, the kids were there. Holy shit, dude. Can you imagine that, bro? In front of your family is is crazy, but in front of your kids? I don't know what was said or done while I was out of the house the rest of the Sunday because I couldn't bring myself to check our house cameras, but when I returned early Monday morning, the house had a completely different feel. As usual, I woke up around 6, got the house and our oldest ready for school drop-off, checked emails, checked messages, nothing out of the ordinary. As I was getting dressed to leave, my wife laid in our bed snoring lightly. All I could do was look at her and think of what we had and now lost. I've decided I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I texted my lawyer this morning to move forward with serving her. Fast forward to last week, she was served at our home. Reminder to people I had no choice but to be there because I work from home. She had, I guess what you could call a mini meltdown and came into my office screaming. How could I do this to her? I don't know, man. Maybe it's being at the family function with not only your family there, but also your kids and completely humiliating him. Huh, that might have something to do with it. Her mother intervened and that was met with me supposedly turning her whole family against her. But I digress. I probably would have felt bad if it wasn't immediately followed by the rest of her week, acting as if she's been this active and attentive wife and mother the past few years. Sure, people can say she's making an attempt, but she's made many attempts, and historically we fall back where we've been. For those curious, I am aiming for full or at least majority custody of our kids. I already and will continue to cover all the expenses for our kids, insurance, tuition. Both our kids are and will be attending private schools come fall, medical bills, etc. My mother-in-law has given me the courage and strength that helped supplement my own mother's support throughout this. Basically, she is what I hope the kind of mother/wife my wife would have been to our kids and me. Out of respect for my mother-in-law as well as per my own mother's shared wishes, I will continue to help oversee and contribute financial help if needed during her treatments. What a fucking W of a man. That is not his responsibility, but that is just fucking wow. While some may feel I should cut their whole family off, I know the hardships pushed onto a family while dealing with cancer and have dealt with it firsthand as a family member and care provider on both sides of the desk. All in all, I'm prepared to go to war if needed, but I just want a clean, no fuss divorce. My wife has no alimony coming, so sorry for the Redditors and Mommy Gang Facebook group saying she needs to divorce me first and get that sweet alimony money. 1, we live in a state that does not typically enforce alimony. 2, she has means of gainful employment immediately. 3, to help curb any possible problems, I will cover her insurance and bills until either divorce is finalized or when she gains full employment. So that's that. I'm done and waiting for the steps to be taken for everything to be finalized. Sorry it wasn't as exciting of a story with a plot twist as some may have hoped for, but that's life. Not sure if I'll update this once it's finalized, which probably won't be for a few more months, depending on if we go to war or not. This type of stuff like makes me scared for marriage. To think that somebody can become legally connected to somebody without sussing out that they're the type of person to behave like this just scares me. It sounds like it could happen to literally anybody. I think he should have gotten there a lot faster in terms of, holy shit, this woman's treating me terribly, but at least he got there. I have a fiance, but falling in love with a married man. Newest update. Before we get into the last story, if you enjoyed this video and want to see future videos, hit that subscribe button. On top of that, if you're trying to dive deeper into our community, I highly recommend joining our Discord or the free Patreon. Discord is a great place to meet friends, and the free Patreon I've actually been daily vlogging on. Shh, it's a secret. Links to those are in the description. Feel free to tag me once you're in there. Original post, June 2023. We've been together 6 years now, and during the 3rd year of our relationship, I cheated on him with a close family friend. I had started taking him for granted, and it became easy to cheat because I didn't value the relationship. He broke up with me, and we were split for months, and the times I was single, I realized he is a great boyfriend. I begged for him back, and he took me back, but I had a promise to never speak to the guy again. I'm happy to say I never cheated since then and haven't been tempted at all. I understand how great of a partner I have. That being said, the guy I cheated was a close family friend, and recently I rekindled our friendship behind his back. Nothing romantic. You ever meet someone who is a terrible partner but a great friend? That's him. I hated the fact that I let a stupid mishap ruin our friendship. My fiance found out and was angry. I apologized and we talked, and he needed space. He sent me a text of his demands to continue the relationship. This is a copy and paste of his text. After doing some thinking, I can't trust you. Whether it was platonic or not, this is the second time that I know of where you violated my trust. The hardest part isn't this, but now I have to wonder, how many times have you violated my trust or done something behind my back that I just don't know about? You claim this is it, but how can I believe you? I love you and want to work on this relationship, but it's going to require a lot more from you. We are postponing our wedding indefinitely. When we first got back together, it took 10 months before I felt secure in the relationship again. I have no idea how long it will take to feel secure again. Eli, OP changed the name, and I'm guessing this is the close family friend, will be blocked on everything, and you are to never speak to him again. This now includes family events. If you know he will be there, do not attend. If you didn't know and he attends, you are to ignore him. I have unrestricted access to phones, social media, emails, etc. Every password I want to know for any device you have. No hanging out with male friends alone. You are to be home by 1 if you do go out with your homegirls. There will be more, but these are my demands and they aren't up for discussion. If you aren't willing to do it, then the relationship is over. Take your time to think about it. End of text. I called him, but he said he's not arguing with me about it, and don't call him back until I decide what I want to do. I feel that this is extremely harsh considering the fact I didn't cheat this time. Ever since we got back together, I never cheated on him. Mistakes are being made right now. I can just tell by the way that OP wrote this that OP could murder a small child and justify why they had to do it. That is 100% the vibe that I'm getting. It is absolutely incredible that the fiance isn't just like, let's cut my losses. All the demands that the fiance were making were toxic as fuck, but totally make sense with what he's gone through. Dude, at that point, just break up with him and go find someone that you don't need to make those demands with. This sounds like a warden slash jailer. Does it really sound like a partnership if you have to constantly monitor everything and be in constant anxiety? Literally anybody who gets cheated on, you just need to end it. Either that or you are just constantly anxious, constantly stressed that they're somehow figuring out a way. Even if you have access to all these things, they're somehow figuring out a way to talk to new people, to have a Tinder profile. You might as well just yeet yourself out of there, or else you're just making your life more miserable than it has to be. OOP believes that the punishment is too far. I think I was wrong, but I feel that the punishment doesn't fit the crime. I made a horrible mistake years ago. Being friends with someone doesn't equal cheating, even though I was wrong for going behind his back. But also, you're talking to the guy that you cheated on him with, and on top of that, you hid it from him. How do you not understand that that looks sus as shit? Even if you guys didn't do anything, he's always gonna think, did you guys do anything? OOP is convinced to follow her boyfriend's rules. Okay, I'll do it. I just needed to make sure he wasn't going too far, but if this is what it takes to rebuild his trust. When commenters say that OOP is on her way to cheat on her boyfriend again, she claims, you don't think I'll follow his rules? Good thing I don't let people tell me what I can't do. I'm going to be laughing when we work through this, get married, and have kids. If you're cheating on someone, there's something wrong. It could be with you, it could be with your partner, and in this case, I can confidently say I would fucking put money, I would bet an entire house on the fact that there's something goddamn wrong with you. Like, go to therapy and figure out why you can't just be loyal to one person. Update on conversation with boyfriend, June 2023. We had a really great conversation and he was vulnerable and said it made him feel like I didn't value him. He was crying and it really hurt me to see the pain I caused him. He told me that please, let's not go forward with this unless I can promise that I won't go behind his back again because he can't go through this pain again. I told him that I promise I will never hurt him again and will always be honest and upfront with him from now on. We talked about the rules and he said they will be temporary and will be adjusted when we go to couples therapy. Now it's time to put in the work to repair the relationship. I know it will be a lot of work, but I'm prepared. Thank you to the ones who gave constructive feedback. Oh, fucking here we go. Update 10 months later. I have a fiance, but falling in love with a married man. April 17th, 2024. So next month, I'll be married this fall. I've been with this amazing guy and we worked through a lot of issues together. I thought I loved him and I think I still do, but not in love with him. What the fuck? I'm having an aneurysm right now. What did I just fucking read? This person needs a system reboot? I need a system reboot. What did I just read? About 3 months ago at my job, we got a new coworker who was very handsome and extremely attractive. I mean, I never been so physically attracted to someone in my life. We started to deepen our friendship, but romantic feelings came. I repressed mine, but to my surprise, he confessed his feelings to me as well. I told him we got to think about our spouses, but our feelings continued to grow. He told me he stopped being affectionate with his wife because he feels like he is cheating on me when he does that. Just let them have each other at this point. What the fuck? He feels like he's cheating on OP when he's affectionate with his wife. This has to be rage bait. There's no way there's not only one person that is this stupid, but that there are two people that are this stupid. Oh my God. He only wants to be affectionate with me. I've started doing this. He the same, and haven't been intimate with my partner. The big thing is a lot of people will be hurt when this comes out. He can't divorce his wife right away because of finances, but he will as soon as possible. I have to call off the wedding, but I really don't want to hurt my current fiance. Oh no, your life is so hard. You don't want to hurt your current fiance because you fell in love and cheated on him again. Oh my God, I'm gonna deep throat a fucking Glock. When asked about her previous infidelity, OOP says, I have cheated before and I'm starting to realize it's because I didn't understand being in love. With the guy I'm seeing, we both aren't romantic with our current partners. I don't want to be with anyone but him. Also, he's going to divorce his wife. We have a plan for when his finances get straight. How is she justifying this affair? This is completely different. The first time I cheated was because I was selfish. This time it was because I fell in love with someone else. I didn't choose this. No one picks who they love. The whole experience has taught me how complex love is and that I never been in love before. This is so hard on OOP. That's not fair. I didn't want any of this to happen. It breaks my heart that I'm going to have to call off the wedding, but he's a great guy and I'm certain he'll find someone else. I wish I loved him or didn't fall in love with someone else. Because life is more complicated than that. I don't want to hurt him and been thinking, oh, the best way to tell him, you guys act like this doesn't hurt for me too. You guys are not being understanding or empathetic. Chat, this could be my 13th reason why. When commenters tell OOP she's gullible about the married guy, she keeps emphasizing, I'm going to tell my fiance, but we can't tell the other guy's wife yet. He's trying to get his finances in orders first. If this story doesn't end in her ending things with her fiance and then this guy sleeping with her and then dipping, I'm going to be so mad. Update, I ended things with my fiance. April 18th, 2024. I took everyone's advice and decided to end things with my fiance. This was the hardest thing I had to do in my life. I know you guys think I'm a terrible person, but this is an unimaginable situation to find yourself in. I want everyone to know how much this hurt to do. I really wish I didn't fall in love with someone else. I wish I could make myself fall in love with my fiance, but I can't. It took me so long to accept this. I hope you guys can understand that I can't convey this enough, that I care about my ex-fiance. I know this will be the best for both of us, even though it's hard right now. When asked if OOP told her ex-fiance the truth, she says, I didn't lie. I told him the truth, that I fell in love with someone else. I told him I still care about him. I keep telling you all that I care about him and would never use him as a backup. He's a great guy, and there's a woman out there who will love him and be lucky to have him. There's no reason we both can't be happy. When commenters tell OOP that there's no way the married man is going to leave his wife for her, she says, he is going to divorce his wife. Unfortunately, divorce is extremely complicated, but he said he will keep me updated. It's not just finances, but a lot of other legal stuff. Since I wasn't married yet, it was easy to end things. For him, it's a lot more complicated than that. When commenters continue to call OOP gullible, she says, no, I was very clear in our conversation today that I want this figured out by the end of the year. That's plenty of time for him to figure out finances and legal stuff. That way, by 2025, we can just focus on each other. Hell yeah. Newest update, 3 months later, you guys were right. July 3rd, 2024. I realized I treated my fiance horrible and received my karma. My coworker and his wife are getting a divorce because she found out he was cheating with multiple women, plural. He's a disgusting animal. He lied to me and others pretending that we were the only one. Let's fucking go. It may be rage bait, but it's satisfying rage bait. I ended things with him. I'm glad he's being exposed. Now, regarding my ex-fiance, oh my fucking God. I swear to God, if this ex-fiance takes her back, I might actually KMS. I've taken the time to reflect and realize he's actually my true love. Sorry for scaring you. I gotta go. Guys, I scared my cat. That's a mortal sin. We'll give him a treat for that. Oh my God, please don't take her back, dude. I hate that I hurt him. I reached out again to him, but he said he will always love me, but he's done with me. That was painful to hear. Let's fucking go. Good for him, bro. I just can't get over what my coworker did in destroying multiple relationships, including mine. It's painful to see and experience. Edit, I wasn't clear, but I take responsibility for my actions. Just because I'm condemning his disgusting and manipulative behavior doesn't mean I'm justifying my actions. My actions were horrible, but I've learned from them. No, you fucking haven't, dude. Nothing from this entire post made me think, huh, OP really turned a new leaf. OP really learned from the first time and the second time and the third time she cheated on this man. Like, no. If you're looking for more messy Reddit stories, click the link at the top of the description or click one of the videos popping up on the screen right now. The members of our community love these videos, and I'm sure you will too.